Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Dice Throne Duel. I call each channel a little different name. There are two specific channels on my page. The rest will probably be just reviews and small clips, but this is going to be an ongoing series with the game Dice Throne and Unmatched. Those that are avid Dice Throne fans will love the Unmatched videos, and those that love Unmatched should love the Dice Throne video. These are two of my favorite games. So today I want to give you a little bit introduction to what Dice Thrones is, and kind of like a little playthrough for myself. The first one that I have here is Marvel Dice Thrones. So you can take a look at the box. This one is the one that started it all. Dice Throne Season 1. This is re-rolled because it started with just 6 characters and now they have 8. Okay, so from Season 1, just going to show you the characters. There is Barbarian, Moon Elf, Pyromancer, Shadow Thief, Monk, Paladin, Ninja, and Treant. The Ninja and the Treant are the two characters that came in this box as re-rolled. And in Season 2, we got the Gunslinger, Samurai, Tactician, Huntress, Cursed Pirate, Artificer, Seraph, and then last but not least, the Vampiress. And this is Marvel. Black Widow, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, the Miles Morales one, Scarlet Witch, Loki, and Thor. And this is the other Marvel one, and this would be the brand new one that has been released. It is Wolverine, Storm, Psylocke, Iceman, Cyclops, Rogue, Gambit, and Jean Grey. There are 2 one-off characters. The first one is Dice Throne Santa vs. Krampus. This was released as a Kickstarter and was only released on Christmas to anybody that Kickstarted it. It's now been open release, so anyone can get it. The last one is Deadpool. He was a Kickstarter. He was exclusive Kickstarter, but now that it's gone retail, you probably can find it in your local store. For today, I'm going to do an unboxing of Gunslinger, and then my opponent is going to be Loki. So when you get this, each set comes with a separate box for each character. Everything that you need is in this box. So if, for instance, somebody wants to play with you, you could bring just this and another box, and you have a 2-player game. This game is meant to be played 2-player, can be 3-player, and can be 4-player, teams or free-for-all. So for this purpose, I'm going to use a dice tower. And so you'll see the dice after I roll them to make it a little bit easier. So let me give you a quick overview of the game. The game, and this is a watered down, as simple as I can give it if I'm describing this game to someone, this is Battle Yahtzee. It's a lot more than Battle Yahtzee, and I will tell you there's a lot of comments out there that you should not listen to because, again, it's one of my favorite games. There is a lot of luck to this game, but there's also just as much skill. So I would say 50% luck, 50% skill. Again, as I go in, you should be able to see where the skill comes in and where the luck comes in. So let me go over the board. So this one is called the Revolver. I don't know if you can see it. I'll do my best to show it to you. It has 3 bullets, 4 bullets, and 5 bullets. There is a 3 a 4, and a 5. So it goes progressively more as you're doing more dice with that symbol. And as I said, this is a 50% chance of getting these. Most of the time, and again, this is not rule of thumb, but most of the time it goes weakest to the best. But the truth is, the best is at the bottom, and again, I will explain that to you. So this one has 2 bullets, and this has 2 bullseye, which are number 6s. So these are 1 through 3, and I'll just so that I can tell you, so that I don't have to keep repeating myself. Bullets are 1, 2, 3. Dash is 4 and 5, and 6 is bullseye. This one's called a passive ability. It's usually purple. It's usually purple, and it's a added ability. Most people will have 4 abilities here and 4 abilities here. This is more of a self ability. There's not an attack on this. It's just a self ability. Okay, so this one is a small straight. It consists of 4 of the same dice. So that could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. Those are the 3 combinations that you can have. Now for the large straight, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And those are the only 2 that you can have. So there's a little bit of a difference between the small straight and the large straight, which does more damage with the large straight and, of course, with the small straight. This is 4 6s, and this is what we call, the green area is always called the healing area or the defense area. And this one down here is an exclusive. I know in Yahtzee you have to have 5 of the same dice. This one is 5 of the same dice, but they all have to be 6s. So you need 5 6s in order to do an ultimate. So let me explain what each battle is like. The first one is, I attack you, you use your green to defend. The second one is, I attack you, and it's called an undefendable, and that is when you attack and you can use an ability or a card to change the die. And then the last one is an ultimate. Can only be changed with a die. So there's no other way to change it. And you have to accept the bonus and the attack. And this is the most powerful one that you have in the game. Okay, that's the basics of the game. Now, let me go through. I'm going to start from this part. There are different phases of the game. So basically, the attacker is going to start the process, and then the defender will do something, and then the attacker will finish their turn. But on the very first one, it says upkeep. Resolve applicable status effects. Second one is called income phase. Gain a CP and draw a card. So I call that the black phase. Then you have the blue phase. Now in the blue phase, you can play an ability. So what that means, ability card, excuse me. What that means is we have upgrades. We have upgrades that make these attacks stronger. So that's what that one is. Then you can play a main phase action, which could be any blue card that is not upgrading your ability. So I can do all kinds of terrible things to Loki. And then I can sell a card, or as many cards as I want, and I get a CP for doing that. Once the blue phase is over, and again, let me just preface this by saying only the player that is taking their turn does this. Everything else, the upkeep, the income phase, that goes simultaneously with your opponent. But when it comes to the blue phase, it's only the person that is going to be attacking gets this ability. Then we roll. The attacker rolls first. Then the defender goes and he defends also. In this time, I can use what's called orange cards. They will add, subtract, manipulate my dice. So you can use those. And on the orange turn, also the defender can use orange cards, and they can manipulate my dice. And last phase is basically the same thing as the first phase. This gives me a chance to get rid of cards that I don't want, get ready for the attack, because the opponent is going to take their turn. And the last one is I discard cards because I cannot have more than 6 cards in my hand. The game starts with 4. If I gotta tell you that, I forgot. So let's go through the cards. This is an orange card. This is a blue card. There is a blue action card. And then there's one card that I didn't mention. So remember, you can only play these in the color order that you're looking at, okay? So you can't use a blue card when you're in the middle of this and so on and so forth. But this card is called a red card. It's a anytime card. It can be played literally anytime. The attacker rolls once, I can use this card. The attacker attacks me, I can use this card. You can use it at any point and any time between myself and the opponent. So that is that card. So I think that's what I've got for cards. Let me just take a quick peek here. And this purple card, that is an upgrade card that goes on my purple. Okay, so this is called an upgrade card. So my shootout says small straight, after targeting an opponent, you each roll 1 die. If your roll is equal to or greater than the opponent's, then I can deal 7 points of damage. Otherwise, I only deal 5. When I place this down on top of my showdown, it becomes showdown 2, which says after targeting an opponent, you each roll 1 die. If your roll is equal to or greater, deal 1 damage. Otherwise, deal 6 points of damage. So it's got an 8 on it, and it's also got the 6. So it's upgrading from a 7 to an 8 and a 5 to a 6. So that is an upgrade card. This is a blue phase card, I guess you could say. This one says I can inflict a bounty on a chosen opponent. So that is not an upgrade card. It's a main card, or an action card is what it's actually called. And then you have the orange card. So this orange card is an attack card. Let me grab a defensive card. Give me just a second. Okay. So, action card says that after I attack, I can play this card, and it says roll 5 dice, add 1 times the bullets to the total damage. So if I roll 3 bullets, this would go 1 plus 3 bullets would make it a 4 attack. If at least 4 damage is added, you can inflict knockdown. We're going to go through over when I get into the game, I'm actually going to go through all of what these leaflets mean. But I just want to give you an overview of what that is. So that is an attack modifier. Now, if I get attacked, this is a defense modifier, which says a chosen player may perform a reroll to 5 dice during their defensive roll. So if I get attacked and I roll my dice to defend and it's not what I want, I can perform a reroll of up all my dice. And that's basically what it means. Let's go over the leaflet that I'm going to be using. This is hers. It says evasive. Spend and roll 1 die to dodge an attack. When a player with this evasion receives damage, they may choose to spend this token. If spent, roll 1 die. If the outcome is 1 or 2, no damage is received. Although other damages are associated, will be applied. And I can explain that too. Multiple evasive tokens may be spent in an attempt to prevent the same source. And as you can see, it's a positive effect. I can just have 3 of them on me at a time. Reload. This comes from the purple. Purple says during your upkeep phase, you gain a reload. So what reload does is it says spend and add half of 1 to attack, one die to attack damage. So if I roll a 5, we always roll up. So this would be a 6, half of it is 3. If I roll a 2, it's only 1 point of damage. So it's half of whatever I roll. Knockdown. Spend 2 CP or skip the offensive roll. So what this says is it's a negative effect. This one was a positive. I forgot to say that. Negative effect, knockdown. It says, I give this to someone, and it says, to remove this token, a player afflicted with it must spend 2 CP before the start of their offensive roll phase. If the player does not, they must skip the offensive phase and then remove this token. This could be nasty if you don't have the CP to cover this thing. And then the bounty. When I put a bounty, because it's a negative effect, when a player afflicted with this token is attacked by an opponent, the attacker increases their damage by 1 and gains a CP persistent. I want to go back just for a second to explain how you do some of this stuff. So each one of these cards, if you can see, it's going to be a little hard to see, but each one of these cards, yeah, you can't see it very well, but each one of these cards has a number and a color on it. So you know, first of all, when I can use it and how much it's going to cost. For instance, just as an example, this one is going to cost me 2 CP, and it's done in the blue phase. I do that, I can put that down. So I guess the question is, as I was going through this, how do I get CP? Well, again, in the black phase, we have income phase, gain a CP, draw a card. And then in the other situation too, in the blue phase, I can throw away any cards that I want and gain a CP. So that is basically the 2 ways that you can get CP. Some cards will actually give you CP. Some cards will actually give you cards. So you just have to look out for your cards and kind of get to know what they do. So that is the phases. Whoops. And we each get one of these cards. Okay, so this is Loki. Loki has 3 abilities. The first one is called Illusion. Attempt to find Loki among the illusions. So it's called the unique status effect because it could be a positive or a negative status effect. Begin the game with 3 illusion cards set aside, which are these. They're all identical, but all 3 do something different. And I will cover that later in the video. Begin the game with 3 illusion cards set aside. A player with this token may spend it when being attacked if spent. So this has to be on him. He has to have earned this, and I'll explain how you earn these. This has to be earned and put on his board in order for him to use it. But it says present the 3 illusion cards to your opponent face down in any order. You may suggest which card they should select. The attacker chooses any card, flips over the chosen card, and resolves the text. This token may not be transferred by any means. So if I have the token, you cannot take it away. There are some cards that I can take a positive status effect, give it to someone else, but I also can take a positive status effect from him and take it. Same thing with negative status effects. I can get rid of a negative status effect, or I can give it over to an opponent. The next token is called the Bag of Tricks. Roll and gain a surprise. During your upkeep phase, a player with this token removes it and rolls 1 die. If they roll 1 die, they lose a CP. If they roll a 2 or a 5, if they roll a 1, they lose a CP. On a 2 to a 5, Loki chooses whether the player heals 2, gains a CP, or receives 2 damage. And then on a 6, you gain 2 CP. So that is a stack limit of 2. This other one is a stack limit of 2. Spellbound is a nasty, nasty effect. When I have the Spellbound, then I can, on an offensive ability, cannot be rolled. So when I put it on someone, it actually makes it so that the person that is doing the offensive roll cannot use that ability. So if I roll this, and I get, let's just say, for instance, I get 3, and the thing is called scepters. If I get 3 scepters, 4 scepters, or 5 scepters, and I have placed this token on an opponent, that does nothing. So anytime I put this on an opponent, they cannot use it. So if I said you can't use the Resolver or you can't use the Bounty Hunter, if you roll and get the Bounty Hunter, you can't use it. It's basically you null and void their attack on certain abilities. You put it on, that ability is now gone. A player with this token may not activate an offensive ability that is covered by that token, which I just showed you. Player who only has one offensive ability uncovered cannot be afflicted with this token. So if they only have one offensive ability that is uncovered, that you can't block them completely out. They have to have at least one offensive ability. Remove this token at the conclusion of the offensive phase. This token may not be transferred by any means. Okay, so that is Loki. Loki's a 4. So he's a little bit trickier, a little bit harder to figure out. But again, if you played this a couple times, you will definitely understand how this game works. Okay, all right. So I'm in the blue phase. I don't know if I've said that already. So in the blue phase, I am going to start with the Gunslinger. So the first thing that you have to know about this is that when you start the game, the first player has to skip the income phase. So I'm not going to get a CP this turn, and I'm not going to draw a card. Reason being is because I have an advantage that I can attack first, so they have to give me one small disadvantage. But on the card, it says upkeep. That's the very first one. So I just wanted to tell you the second one I have to skip. Resolve applicable status effects. Well, I have a status effect. It's this purple right here. And what that says is during your upkeep phase, gain a reload. So I take this reload, I put it on myself, and now if I attack, I can add this to my attack with half the damage. So I roll the die, take half of the percentage of it, and then I hit him with extra damage. But I have to attack. I cannot just throw it at him. So let's see what I have for cards. I have a red card, I've got a blue card, and then I've got 2 orange cards. The blue card is I can inflict a bounty, and the bounty says when a player afflicted with this token is attacked, an opponent, the attacker increases the damage by 1 and gains a CP. So that's what that one does. I don't remember if I went through this as well, but we will continue. Better D, that is a defensive one. It says a chosen player may perform a reroll of up to 5 dice during their defensive roll. This one is an attack modifier. I roll 5 dice, add 1 for every bullet that I roll, and then if at least 4 damage is added, I can inflict a knockdown. This one is bye-bye, and it's a red. Can be played at any time. Remove a status effect token from a chosen player. As simple as he puts a bad status effect on me, boom, I throw the card down, and I say, nope, I'm not going to take it, and it goes away. Okay. So I have no cards that I want to use right now. I have no cards I want to get rid of right now. So now I go to the next phase. And now I've gotten rid of the blue phase. Now I go into the orange phase. So I can take up to 3 rolls to activate an ability. This is where the Yahtzee part comes in. And I will say that, in my opinion, the Yahtzee part comes in here because of my superpower 6s. And here where I've got a small straight and a large straight. The rest of this game are all specific to what die, the symbol that's on the die that I roll. But let's see what I get. So I roll the dice, not die, and I just so happen to have 3 6s. So I can try to go for the ultimate, which is 5 6s, or I can go with 4 6s. But I also have a 5, and I have this. So looking at this, I'm very close to this, which I can inflict a bounty and then deal 1 undefendable damage. Again, undefendable means he can use a die or he can use a card to change my outcome, but he cannot use this the green box here, which is his defensive ability. Defense is always here. It's always going to be on the right side at the bottom right. So let me think. I've got 3 dice rolled. I've got 3 6s. I don't think I want to go with the ultimate. I think I'm a little bit afraid. Well, what the heck? I'm going to roll it anyway. I'm going to try for it. Okay, so I've got 2 of these and 2 of these. So I automatically have Bounty Hunter. I don't have a good run of, I have 1, 3, 6, and 6, and 6. So that's not a good run. So that means I have to make a decision. Do I want to stick with this? Or do I want to try for the ultimate again and possibly get nothing? If no other 6 is rolled, then I literally have nothing because there are no 3 6s. So I have to make the decision. I think I'm going to go for the revolver, which is 3, 4, or 5 bullets. It's a 50% chance, so I think that's a good percentage. Okay. So I have 3 bullets, and I have 2, they're called dashes. If I had 3 dashes, I would have a better attack in my opinion, but I have 3 and that's not bad, so he takes 3 points of damage. Now he has a defensive roll, so I move these to the side, and that is what I have for him. And now he is going to defend, and defense says roll 1 die. And then we go with the symbol that's on it. So I have the, what is it called? I have the illusion. So on the illusion, it says gain a bag of tricks. So I put this on me, and when I use it, I'll tell you what it does. Or actually, I'll just do it really quick. It says, during your upkeep phase, a player with this token removes it and rolls 1 die. So he can lose it. I can lose a CP. I can go 2 to 5. I can choose whether the player heals, gains, or receives 2 points of damage. And I can gain 6. On a 6, I gain 2 CP. Now, I can actually give this to him also instead. Even though it's a positive effect for me, it's also a negative effect for him. So I'm going to think, and I'm actually going to give it to him. Because I'm hoping that I can use the negative on this. Okay, so this did not stop any damage. So all of the 6 points of damage goes to him. So I change it to 44. That's his health. Okay, so he's done his. Now let me see what he has for blue cards. Okay. I don't know why I said blue. I'm so sorry. Orange. What he has for orange cards is he can change the value of any 1 die. That would have been nice here, but I think I want to use it in a little bit different way. Here is the red card, which I can play anytime. A chosen player must remove a bag of tricks, roll 1 die, 1 or 5. Loki chooses whether the player heals 3, gains 3 CP, or receives 3 damage. On a 6, they gain 4. So if I had given it to me, the positive part would be me. But here on 1 through 5, Loki chooses whether the player heals, gains, or receives 3 damage. I'm hoping that he rolls a 1 through 5 so that he will take damage. And these are my upgrade to my powers. And we'll get into that a little bit later when it's his turn. So I have no cards that I really want to use. So I take the 6, and then I'm back to the blue phase because I'm the player. And my blue phase is... So on top of the attack, I'm also going to play this one. And it says, if the player concludes their offensive phase with an attack, which I did, they may spend this token. If spent, roll 1 die, and half the damage goes to him. So I gave him 6. Now I'm going to roll a die, and it's a 4. So half of 4 is 2, so he takes 2 more points of damage. So basically, I just dumped 8 points of damage onto him. So he's down to 42. Okay, so now that I've inflicted the damage to him, now I can use any one of these cards to do more on him. Any card that I want. So let's see. I'm going to... You know what? I'm going to be... Yeah. I am going to have him spend 1 CP, and I'm going to have him eat lead on top of that, which says roll 5 dice. Add 1 for every bullet to a total of damage. If at least 4 damage is added, I can also inflict knockdown. So I'm going to spend my 1 CP, which I just did, and then I'm going to hit him with this, with 5 dice, and we'll see what we do. We're looking for bullets, and again, I got a 50-50 chance of getting it. Okay, so basically, I add 2 points of damage because you'll see that I have 2 dashes and a bullseye. So I had 2 more points of damage. So basically, I have hit him for 10 points of damage just on the first turn. That is pretty good. Okay, so I inflicted his 2 points of damage, and now this card gets discarded. Okay, so now I've taken my turn. Now it is going to be Loki's turn. So let's see. We saw what Loki has, but I'll just reiterate again. Change 1 card to anything I want. This one is I can add another bag of tricks to him and roll this immediately, which he only has 1, so he would immediately do that. And then I have 2 upgrades. That's what I have for cards. Okay, so we go with the upkeep. There's nothing to upkeep. I don't have any special abilities on me, so that gets next. We go to the next place. So I get a 1 gain a CP and draw a card. So I draw a card. Whoops, sorry. I draw a card, and I have better D. If a chosen player may perform an additional roll attempt of up to 5 dice during their defensive roll. So this is only good for defense. And I will put that in my hand. Okay, so I've done the CP, done the card. Let me take that to a 3. So I have 3 CP and 40 health. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to probably... I want to upgrade one of my powers. Let me just see which one I have. So it's a choice of double take 2, which is right here. And again, I'm making my personal preference, and it can be, you guys will be making your own feelings on this. I have a hard time getting 6s most of the time, so I'm going to go with Mockery. It's going to cost me 2 CP, and again, you can see that it's in the blue phase, so I'm in the blue phase. That's going to cost me 2 CP. I have 1 left, and then I am going to roll. These are his dice. I've got, let me get this off the table here. Maybe I'll just put it over here to make it easier. So I've got 3 scepters and 2 illusions. Okay, so I've got this and this. This is what I've got. Okay, well, let's see. What do I have that's similar to it? Oh, right here. Inflict 2 spellbound and deal 7 points of damage. Well, the spellbound goes through no matter what. Again, when you read some of this, it says all other effects come into effect. So I've got 2 spellbounds. And knowing myself, I know that I like to take cover a lot. And I like, let's get rid of Showdown. So he'll have to get a large straight. And he has to get not use this one. Okay, great. Now I have 7 points of damage that are coming to me. So let's see what I have for a defense. You and your attacker each roll 1 die. If your roll is greater, you may choose to either deal 3 points of damage or prevent half the damage rounded up. If your roll is not greater, you deal 1 point of damage. So I am going to roll, and we'll see what we get. So I have Loki and Gunslinger. Okay. So the roll is 2 to 2. I'm not sure you can see it. Let me look. Looks like you can. Good. So it's 2 to 2. So I did not make it greater, and so it's equal. So he wins the fight. I take full damage, but he's going to take 1 point of damage. So let's first give him 1 point of damage, and I'm taking the full 7.0. So that brings me down to 43. Okay, now in the blue phase now. And let's see what I want to do. Well, I tell you what, this is pretty cool. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to do Outwit, which says a chosen player must remove a bag of tricks, which is right here. And that's him. Then it says on a 1 through 5, Loki gets to choose what it's going to happen. And on a 6, this person is going to gain 4 CP, which is what Loki does. He's a trickster, so he's either going to win or lose. But Gunslinger has to roll a die. It's a 5. So what that means is I get to choose as Loki what is going to happen. So I'm going to choose him to receive 3 more points of damage. So that's the Loki's discard. By the way, it's a red card, but it's also got 0 CP. So I can just play it for free. So Gunslinger is 1 point ahead of me. Oh, sorry, I bring it down to 40. There we go. Okay. 40 to 39. Okay. So I've done that part of my blue phase. Do I have a card I want to throw away? No, I do not. So my turn is done. So on the blue turn, I've done the blue turn, which is play an upgrade, play a phase action card, or sell a card. Don't want to do any of that. So now I discard any cards if I have 6, which I do not. So we continue on. Pass turn over to Gunslinger. Gunslinger's going to do his. So this time I get a CP because I skipped this last turn. And when I play this, sometimes I get overly excited. Okay, so it says upkeep, resolve applicable status effects. Well, this one is my status effect. Remember, it says here, during your upkeep phase, gain a reload. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to look at my cards, and let's see what I picked up. This one is Showdown 2, which is covered right now, so I don't think I'm going to use it. Remove a status effect, no. Better D, no. And then I can inflict bounty on him if I have 2 CP, which I do. So I'm not going to do that either. I'm just going to attack. I'm in the orange phase now. So I've got this, and this. So I have a couple of options here. So what I'm looking at is I can possibly get a small straight with 2, 3, 4, and 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4. But the problem is this is blocked. All right, well, cool. Let's see if I can get for evasion, which is one of my favorite attacks. It's 2 bullets and 3 dash. Well, guess what? That's blocked also. So now I've got to think what I'm going to do. Well, I don't have a lot of choices. I think just for this turn, I'm going to try for a 3. So it's just 1 turn. I don't have any cards. That will help me. So I think I'm going to have to try for a 3. Just 1 turn. And I got a 6. Now, those that know Dice Throne, don't judge me, okay? I'm just trying to do a simple game. Somehow, as Loki, I blocked my two favorite attacks. Let me see. I think at this point, I've got to go for my revolver. I don't think I'm going to get that. So I have to go with these three. And I'm going to go for my revolver. And I got 2 more bullets, which turns this into a 4. Then I'm also going to play this. And that is a revolver. So I'm going to throw this. And again, I can play this right now, which is I'm going to, but if he defends against it and he stops the damage, he can stop this damage, but he cannot stop this effect. So, but I'm going to play it now, just so that you can see that you can play after you roll or after you attack. So, I am going to roll 1 die. I rolled a 4, so half of it is 2. So I do 4, 5, 6 points of damage. Do I have anything else that I can do to him? I don't think right now I want to. Now, this isn't an undefendable, and again, if it happens, then I'll explain it again. But right now, I got 6 points coming to me as Loki. Well, my defense is I can roll 1 die on my defense roll, and we'll see what I get. I get a 6. So a 6 says I gain an illusion. Okay, so I gain this. Okay, as you saw, I gain this. But the rules state, okay, depending on the wording, if it says gain this, which is what this says, gain illusion. If it says gain this, do the damage, yes, you can use the token. If it says do X damage, then gain this, you can't. So I can use it, which she's been banging me all along with 6 points of damage. So right now, I am going to choose to use my illusion. Now for this thing, I would be looking at the cards, but because I am playing against myself, I'm going to do this. So what I would do is, one of the tricks, because remember, Loki's a trickster, and I highly recommend this. This is not part of the rules, but it's something that I highly recommend. You know what the cards are, right? And the opponent doesn't. So you could say something like, okay, this one is the worst one, this one is better, and this one's the best. Or you could just say, this is the one you don't want. So you're trying to get into their mind. I sometimes will just tell the truth. And then other times I won't. But let's just say I don't say anything. And I'm going to take the middle one because I want to. And it says fail. So the cards have partial success, success, or fail. So let me give you the best one. Best one says Loki prevents 0 incoming damage. Attacker gains bag of tricks. Loki may spend another illusion. So I could, if I had multiple of these, then I could do it again if I didn't like the answer. This one says partial success. It says Loki prevents half damage, rounded up. Loki may spend another illusion. Okay. But Gunslinger got fail. Loki prevents all incoming damage. So, poor Gunslinger did no damage. So her roll phase is done. I do not have to use a card because I had that. And so now the Gunslinger is on the blue phase. Let's see. Well, this is coming off at the end of his turn, or the end of my turn, sorry. So I'm going to play Showdown and hope he doesn't hit me again with it. And I got my take cover back. I'll just read it to you just so that we know. Remove the token at the conclusion of the offensive phase. That's the only part I wanted to read to you. So it goes back, and I'm back to having everything I need. I spent all my CP points for it. Now, I did also give him 2. So he still gets, it doesn't say in the card, prevent other effects. So this actually says I prevent all of it. There are cards that will say other effects take advantage. So, to be honest with you, because of that, some people would say I don't get this, but because Loki, and this is one of those times I could have waited, which is what I'm not going to do because I made the mistake, but I could have waited and then tried to get him. But for this case, I already used it, so therefore it's gone. Blue phase, do I have a card I want to throw away? No, I do not. So I'm stuck with 0 CP and 40 health. 40 health, yep. So now it is Loki's turn. Loki is going to look at his cards. Okay, so I'm going to gain a card. I can't remember. Okay. Gonna gain a card, inflict 3 spellbounds. Ooh, that's nice. Gonna gain a CP. I got my card. Well, guess what? I'm not gonna take any more damage, so I'm gonna spend a CP. Put me back down to 1. And then I'm gonna inflict 3 spellbounds this time. Well, I know that you're gonna try for this. I know it. And I also know that you're going to try for this. So I'm going to stop that one. You cannot stop a ultimate. So I can't put this on. An ultimate, the rules state that I can have every negative effect in the world. But if I get a ultimate, can only be changed by a card or a die. So I can't put it on here. So let's see. I think I really want to stop him here. So he might do a point of undefendable damage to me, but that's all he can do. So let's see. Got to hold on to that. So I've got to get rid of that So Wild and help me. It's not helping me in my hand. So done with the blue phase. I have no cards that I want to throw away. I have nothing I can upgrade, and so I am going to roll. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 5, 6, and 3. So out of the gate, I got 1, 2, 3. Oh, 5, 6. Nope, I didn't get it. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. So if I had not spent for the Spellbound, I'd have enough to use my So Wild. But now I'm kind of in a quandary. But how about this? I've got this. I've got this, I've got this, and I've got this. So, in my opinion, most of the time it's weak, 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 stronger, 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 and then big. So I think I'm going to feel pretty lucky to do this one. And I'm not going to roll again. So this says, if any of your opponents have more health than you, gain an illusion. Well, I have 39 and he has 40, so I do have less health than him, so I'm gonna take an illusion. Second part says, then deal 7 points of damage. Otherwise, deal 5 undefendable damage and choose 2 players to gain Bag of Tricks. Well, the opponent does have more health than me, so I only get that. I don't get the second part, but I'm also going to throw 7 points of damage at him. It's not undefendable, so he can defend against it. So I take a die, and he takes a die. Mine says you and your attacker roll 1 die. Okay? I rolled a 6. He rolled a 5. I beat him. So it says, if your roll is greater, you may choose to either take 3 points of damage, half the damage, round it up. If your roll is not greater, you deal 1 point of damage. like to thank everyone for joining my channel. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and have a great day.